Good morning. Wow, look at me, 2 in a row. So soon. See if we get closer to my face. It's always hard. Interesting day today. A lot going on in my life. And I was thinking about the last video that I did on shame, and I wondered, would anyone even listen to it? Because no one wants to get anywhere close to shame, right? Anyways, there's more in there than you think. And then that made me think of something else. My women's series. And I was thinking of women in ministry, especially. What my thought process was, I started thinking about, well, women in ministry, what does that look like now, Trish, as time has gone on since you first even brought this up? And I thought, oh, that's an interesting question. Then I remembered I had found, going through a whole bunch of old CDs, I didn't even know this CD case, which was broken, you know, those old metal clamshell ones from like the 90s, 2000s, something like that. It was full of my like mixed CDs, you name it, a bunch of my favorite artists, secular and non-secular. So anyways, I thought it was interesting because I'm looking through there, I'm like, oh, there's a dual CD set in there, and I kind of remember listening to it a little bit, and I believe I got it in like the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, but it's called, I can't even remember who it was probably put out by like a women's ministry or something, but the title, which of course caught me off guard, was The Problem with Women in Leadership. And I thought, okay, did I not listen to the whole thing because I had a problem with it? Did I try to ascribe to this when I listened to it? Which is very possible, because I'm sure this was during my homeschooling years, which was a very awesome and yet trepidatious time period for me. A lot of influences come at you when you make a big decision like that. I am grateful that I stuck to my guns on curriculums and trajectories and my purpose in the items that I chose to teach. And I have my daughters are extremely bright and curious and love to learn. Have no problems being themselves. So I'm assuming that some of the goals that I had, or not even goals, I guess it wasn't goals, because the goals that I did have to produce good citizens, I'll say they're good citizens. Are they the end product I was told I would get by homeschooling? No. And it was a lie anyways. And a lot of them have retracted since then what they'd said. So here, I'm not even on here about homeschooling. I'm on here about women in ministry, and yet this little tangent, because the reformist attitude behind most of the homeschool alliances that I had at the time were clearly about putting women in their proper place. Oh, dude, I guess I'm just wired differently, raised differently. I raised my children differently, and it's probably why we had a very small circle of friends, we'll put it that way. And some of them had nothing to do with us after a while. We were a wild card. I get it. Some people aren't wired for wild. But we like it that way. What can I say? anyways, back to women in ministry. So I take these 2 CDs. I start listening to them. First one, man, this guy, and it was a guy teaching. Sounds like a crowd. Must have been like a conference or seminar or something. And he's teaching, and the first one, I was like, spot on. He took all the scriptures that we have issues with as women, really went into them about women in ministry, women in leadership, all that stuff. And I was like, well, thank you. Now, I am not done with the second CD. And I don't know if this problem is my problem, but usually when things are a sticking point, there's a reason. It means God's trying to get my attention to show me something, either something that needs to be changed in me or something that is wrong with the programmed area that I'm dealing with. So here we are. Submission. Yeah. Man, 2 really great names. I do shame. Now I've done submission. Sale. So sale. Yeah. 2 S words that, not my favorite. So submission. I have been made to submit, been programmed to submit, been trained to submit, have been expected to submit, my whole entire life, which is interesting considering growing up through the 70s and into the 80s, and with a matriarchal grandmother who was, I'll just say it, she was a ball buster. She really was. She loved me and she was great to me. She loved Jesus. There's her shining trophy right there. She loved Jesus. And she wanted everybody in the family to love Jesus too. So that part, I appreciate. I appreciate that she saw things in me that maybe I would never have seen. She was my example for creativity and never giving up, trying everything. And I'm not trying to skip over my mom like she wasn't there, but I'm just focused on somebody who was like that. My mom's tough as nails, but she's not a ball buster. My grandmother set her in a room, and if there was an opinion that needed to be made on something she had an opinion on, she was going to make that opinion known. She had no problem speaking her mind. So, having that type of person in your life, and I've had encouraging people over time. There's been a few that have encouraged me to step out and do what God has asked me to do. So, and I had no problems also with submitting to my God. I say that, and then now here I am years later realizing I've still been trying to push my own agenda. So sometimes, most times, I was not as submitted as I thought I was. But, this is a process, right? I've talked about that. Trust the process. And I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and turn into a Stepford robot. That isn't happening. Even if it meant that's the way God wanted it. Anyways, we're not. He doesn't. He knows you're a real human being. Jesus is a real human being, albeit glorified and deified. He's got like supercharged DNA. Little side note, I heard somebody say once, and I don't know if it's true, but I thought it was a great idea to think on, that when you turn your life over to Jesus, that it changes your DNA to a supernatural DNA. I find that kind of cool. Anyways, I don't know. I had a lot of things I expect to know once I see Jesus face to face. I think he's just gonna, give you a, what do you call that? A download, everybody says, but I'm like, I want a reboot. I want to know everything you know that I need to know, and get rid of the other stuff. So yeah, let's defrag and reboot. Anybody remember defrag days? Oh my goodness, man, it felt like you're waiting forever for that computer to do all the stuff it's supposed to do and make more space. Anyways, remember also they said we'd never use up a gig. I laugh. The amount of space I don't have on my laptop and my phone now is ridiculous. I don't care what I do. Anyways, again, digression. Let's go back. So women in submission, when it comes to what? Well, submission in church. So this is one of the things this guy was talking about in these CDs. He was talking about the fact that that whole women should be quiet in church, and he was smart. He gave all the cultural background and all the stuff, and so smart guy. Did his homework, and he talked about how women were wait your turn and speak when it's, all this stuff. Anyways, I was like, okay, but the submission to leadership, I get it. I've seen that a lot. Obviously, I had that used against me not that long ago. And I say used against me as in trying to get me to back down, be quiet, and not share what God had for me to share. So what does that mean too then? Submitting to, and it was interesting. It was part of that, submit to your husband with all humility and silence and all that stuff. And people have constantly used this, even now, that because there was a pastor recently, actually I think it was a panel of them that were talking about this very thing, and talking about how a wife's submission to their husband, they would be won over by their silence and their demeanor, all that stuff. Well, let me tell you, as somebody who tried to change her demeanor and her way of doing things and letting him be Lord of the castle, I'm talking the husband here, not Jesus, and it was not good. I thought I was doing the right thing, and that was one of the reasons why my husband came up, saw what I was reading. It was a nice homeschool book. It's not a homeschool book. It was how do we make the homeschool moms behave and teach their kids? Yeah, there you go. That's basically it. And he saw it, took a look at it, read a little bit, and tossed it in the trash. Said, I want you to be you. And I guess I had not considered, because I was looking for an example of how I should be, and I was willing to completely set aside who I was to do that. All right, I'm willing to do that for Jesus. Willing to say, hey, you're completely in charge. You get to decide how I live my life. But he also made me this way, so he completely understands how I think, all that. Doing the same thing with your husband? Yeah, no. I'm like, if I was really popular online, I'd be getting a lot of hate email, a lot of bad messages. I have an issue with this. I have a big issue with that kind of submission. I can submit to my Jesus. Submitting to leadership in church, I mean, if it's to be orderly, like Robert's Rules of Orders or something like that. Yeah, I can do that. Do I believe in the one head pastor and telling everybody what to do? I don't think I'm there anymore. I believe everything needs to be done as a body now. The head's Jesus, so I'm sorry, Pastor. You're not the head. If you're the hand, that's great. And you're serving your people and you're serving your Jesus. Anybody else got any input on the submission part? So here, why do I have a problem with submission in marriage? Now, I believe we are a united, one body institution. We'll put it that way. Okay? That's what marriage is to me. I thought it was going to be teamwork. Is one person better at one thing than another? Yeah. I believe it. Everybody has strengths, weaknesses. That's why you work together. You either work to make your weaknesses stronger and use your strengths, or you support the other person who's doing it. You guys make those decisions together. Same with, the kids and how you raise them, and why did you even come together to begin with? Was it a financial decision, spiritual decision, or like ours? He's a good man, and I chose well. Did I do enough homework before I hitched my wagon to his star? No, not at all. I was a kid. I didn't even understand what all that meant. And another side note, that thing they lie to you about, and they say, oh, you know what, you're marrying the man or the woman. You're not marrying their family. So that's a lie. You want to know a person, even if they are completely different than their family, if you want to know a person, you get to know their family. I mean, really get to know them. And I'm not talking just the immediate. You better get to know extended family. First of all, they're going to tell you things that you would never hear from them. They'll just, by telling you stories or making fun of things or whatever. So, yeah. Good insight. Trust red flags. You see, after a while, I think we just kind of like dumb them down. Like, I'm going to ignore that flag because that's going to get changed or that's going to get better. When you dating somebody, I hate to tell you, that's the best you're ever going to see out of a lot of it, because they're on their best behavior. Now, all of the crappy stuff is going to rear its ugly head, and it's going to get worse. Does not mean people cannot change. Does not mean they don't grow, mature, become better people. But that submission part has to do with the fact that if we're considered a team, working together, I should have just as much input. If it comes down to whoever makes the most money has the most power in the relationship, I don't believe in that anymore either. Look at the culture you live in now. Now I'm talking the United States. I don't know what it's like in other countries. You can tell me. I mean, we only see the stuff on TV, and it's probably lies just like the lies you see about the United States. We're just regular people trying to make it like everybody else. And yeah, the system's broken. The system is trying to program us into all these different areas, trying to break up the family. I get it. I do. I tried to fix the nuclear family in my life so that I could have a better example and a better environment for my kids. Still have our problems, because you're fundamentally two broken people who need Jesus raising a bunch of little broken people who need Jesus. And maybe they're not as broken, maybe they're not as, people hate it when you use the word broken, but it's true. You need to be glued back together into the better version. You're supposed to be looking more like Jesus. If you don't look like Jesus, you're broken, okay? I'm just saying it. So, all the way back to, again, women in ministry, submission. So if I already have a problem with sorry, got chapped lips today. Submission with my marriage, then I'm obviously going to have problems with submission in ministry, because this is the person I do life with. And if I expect that we're doing things as a unified front together, decisions, I can't do the dishes, he could do the dishes. We probably both have jobs, even if your job happens to be in the home taking care of the kids, or if he's staying home taking care of the kids. There's so many variables these days. I still believe that as much as I love tradition, okay, I love Little House on the Prairie and all those things that I paid attention to as a kid, we're not living Little House on the Prairie anymore. Yeah, the trad wife's trying to bring it back. But let's be honest. You start looking at some of those influencer trad wives out there, and the majority of them have a staff, sometimes a nanny, sometimes a housekeeper. They have multiple businesses. Their husband's a gazillionaire. And the house that they're doing all this influencer stuff in probably isn't even their house. It's probably one of those rentals that they're using for influencers. Now, all to say, doesn't mean they don't love their kids and they don't want to give off the vibe of being traditional. But again, smacks of fake. I don't like fake. I don't like hinky, and it's very hinky. I don't know. I'm sure it's all a trend that stockbrokers leaving New York and buying a chicken ranch. Yeah, right. You can ranch chickens. Chicken ranch and all that stuff. Go to all Joel Salatin's, seminars to his place and learn all the stuff about permaculture and blah, blah, blah. Good for you. But let's be honest here. What does your relationship look like with your husband, your wife? Are you submissive one to another? Because even your body, it says in the New Testament, it does not belong to you. It belongs to your husband. His body belongs to you. The whole purpose behind all of that was to point out that, you know what, you care about the other individual. I can't tell you how many times I have watched others fight, argue in front of us. We're at their house for, call it a dinner party. I mean, we were whiskey tango, man. It was probably spaghetti. But, I mean, I didn't care. I didn't have to make it. But, oh my gosh, it was like traumatizing to sit there and listen to them fight. He kept baiting her. She kept screaming at him. And I was like, you know what? I could eat at home. I don't need this stuff. So, watch how you speak one to another. Help one another out. Do we all have seasons where we're the ones that need more care? Yes. At Friends, we used to do that. Long ago. We'd say, it's okay. It's your turn to be the high maintenance friend. So sometimes you go through a season where you're the one who needs the most care, most attention. And you're not going to get as much, but you know that the person you're married to, it's going to be reciprocated at some point, so you're good to go. The submission piece, to me, now here's the part that he did get right. Those CDs, going all the way back to that. Okay, what are we doing here, people? The submission part that he had right was the fact that submission doesn't mean less than or beneath them or under their feet or, like a lower caste system or something. It wasn't like that. It was working together and helping together. It still smacked of she had to go and help his butt because he couldn't handle something. Come on, man. Don't you hate that too? How that kind of makes you feel, I'm not even gonna, I wouldn't say emasculated, but like, oh, the poor baby, he can't take care of his own laundry, or he can't make himself a sandwich. She's there to help him. Man, everything just sounds weak. I don't like that. Somebody needs to reframe what marriage looks like today according to the word. So, let's go to the best marriage. Jesus and his church. Now, the bride is supposed to make herself ready, pure and spotless. Now, mind you, this bride includes men and women of the church. What Jesus knows as his church, those who know his voice, those who are prepared, have the oil, have the wicks, they're all ready to go. All right. So this bride's got herself all ready to go. She's prepared. I don't even know how to put this, but I don't know. That kind of relationship I could submit to. First of all, I completely trust Jesus. Wouldn't you trust whoever laid down their life for you completely? There's no greater sacrifice. And he covered everyone. Backwards, forwards, sideways, up and down, below, all around. Jesus covered everyone. Wow. That's a relationship you want to be in. Now, if your partner, your spouse, does not exhibit the same character, and you do not exhibit the same character, then yes, it's going to feel unequally yoked. So think about it before you plunge. If you're already there and you're already in a marriage and you're not sure where you are in this whole thing, I know who can help you. Yep, right back to that relationship, personal, intimate relationship with Jesus. And I mean intimate as in you sit or you lay on your face before him and be honest. He already knows. Why don't we ever why do we think he doesn't know? Be honest. Pour it out and ask for his input on what's going on. Say, what do you have to say about this? Or, where are you in this? Or, what is your heavenly strategy for me in this relationship? Because I will tell you, Bob and I, even though we kind of came from a similar way of looking at things from our backgrounds when it came to church, we're both sin-filled people that nothing about us looked godly really, other than our care for other people. So God can redeem that. He can redeem your relationship. He can redeem your marriage. We had times where I wasn't sure if we were going to make it. We almost gave up at one point, and yet Jesus intervened. Did we do it right? No. Was it easy? Oh, no. Is it worth it? Yes. There's something about coming out on the other side of a battle with your marriage battle buddy and you have a frame of reference and a mindset that no one else can understand. They're your witness of your life. So, submit submission when it comes to women in ministry. Alright? Submission to your husband, if it's done the way it should be. With the love of Jesus. And they're submitted to you too. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Submission to leadership at your church. If it's done orderly, like a board would be or something like that, I'm fine with that. Blind submission just because they're the one up there in the pulpit or standing at the door, I got some problems there. And submission to any man just because they're a man? No. I hate to tell you, as your species has not policed itself very well. Yeah, we still trying to police our own women, okay? Ugh, some of them just make us sad. But policing one another and holding men to a higher standard. Please. The good ones, stand up. Teach the young ones to be the same way. And tell the others to shape up or ship out. Don't need that nonsense. I mean, if they need deliverance ministry, then go find it for them. Push them that direction. Drag them if you have to. Tell them Jesus ain't putting up with this nonsense anymore. And I'm going to tell you that. Does he understand that you need to clean stuff up in your life? Yes. But we are past the sitting on the fence stage, people. There's no more grace for that stuff. Not happening. You have to make a decision. You follow Jesus or not. Do you know him? If you don't know him, get to know him. He wants you to, more than anything. He wants that personal relationship with you. And it's not just the read the road to Romans. That's all great and everything, but that's not your get out of hell free card, your fire insurance. It's not. It's just words. We're talking the intent of your heart and your mindset. Do you even know that you're a sinner? Do you even know you need help? Come on, look in the mirror. You know the truth. Have a real conversation with him. He can handle it because he knows all the worst about all of us. He knows your thoughts, he knows your intents, and he knows what you're going to do before you even do it. And he sees all the filth in this world. All of it. There's not a lot different since before the flood where Noah and his family were saved. That, other than, I don't know, maybe even then technology was there. We don't know. But, yeah, we'll listen to blurry creatures and all the other blurry stuff. It'll make you wonder how much nonsense was going on then. Yeah, like weird breeding programs, all kinds of nonsense. Anyways, all to say, well, today is still today. Turn your life over to him. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's not going to be all, peaches and cream and everything is going great. But he's refining you into pure gold, pure silver, purely ready. I can't wait. So, wow, I think I just drove by a big old funeral. They had a limo out there. What was that? Maybe it was a wedding? Everybody's dressed in black. Does everybody wear black to weddings now? Okay, anyways, big digression. Let's come back. Women in ministry, good idea. Should every woman be in ministry? Probably not. Just like I wouldn't have trusted every woman with my kids. There's a lot I ended up realizing, just because you got kids don't mean you should be watching mine. Now, submission. Let's start with the most important submission and we'll work our way down. How's that? I'll keep looking into this, but let's start with our submission to Jesus, to Yeshua. And that's where I am today. I'm going to pray for you real quickly here as I go through this little neighborhood. There's really no cars around, so anybody wants to get after me for doing this while I'm driving, I'm very careful, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. Small road. Lord, I'm just going to ask that whoever's listening right now to this video, if they have any question about submission to you, if they have any question about where they are with you, I just ask that today, as they reach out to you, you grab their hand, you pull them out of the miry pit, out of that clay, and you just say, I am so glad you are here. And you two have yourselves a just dandy time discussing how much you need each other. Because he needs you. He wants you. And you need him. Tell him why you did it. Why did you allow yourself to be nailed to that cross when you didn't have to? You allowed yourself to. Tell him why. Show them the expanse of your heart, your love, and your mercy. Show them that they can rely on you. They can trust you. You have never, ever let any of us down. We may think we have been let down because things didn't go the way we thought they should go. But you know everything. Thank you, Lord. And bless the people listening. I bless the families involved. And I bless this day in your holy, mighty name. Amen.